We're streaming. Oh crap! Guess what I didn't do? As always, can you hear me?
Yes, I got you.
It's show 17, right?
It is.
Because of course it's show 17. We wouldn't.
the title.
Yeah, it wouldn't be right if I wasn't like changing it right off the bat. Hey. Okay. I can even do weirder things like this. I can make it go like, woo! Make it dance across the screen. Make it larger. And have all sorts of fun. Oh, and I gotta look at that software for streaming your golf match too.
Oh yeah, I didn't check that out. Not just yet. I got the text.
Yeah.
Didn't see it just yet.
All right, you ready? 10 seconds. Why not?
Sure.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hello, welcome to Not Your Average Show with Corey and Mike. It is, what is it? It's the 19th of February, 2021. And it is a Friday, and we are with you after a banner week of space activity and our own SpaceX coverage. We're here. Hey, what's going on, bro? What's happening?
Hey man, what's going on
in the world?
No, like I was just texting before. Just one of our cats is maybe sick, so we're dealing with that. But other than that, man,
that is the suck, having a sick cat. Today, by the way, we will be talking about. Oh, I also brought my 2-year-old to the doctor today. That was. Yeah, that's always a lot of fun. That is always.
Goes on.
Yeah, screaming, crying. Him just yelling out about go home. It was it's sad.
Well, but what you said about when he was saying that, you said that the
nurses
doctors there were like, wow,
were like, we've never heard a 2-year-old
be talking that early.
Yes, they were like, did he just say go home door? And I was like, yes, he did. They're like, we've never heard a 2-year-old do that in this office before. I was like, damn. I was like, all right,
you have now.
Now you have. So there's that. Also, we're talking about the AMG Project ONE because I threatened it like 2 weeks ago and I never got it out. We're also talking about Mars has a new visitor, which obviously Perseverance, which hopefully you all tuned into the live stream with NASA's information yesterday because it was pretty phenomenal, except for the one guy. But we'll talk about
the
him.
one guy that was so nervous.
He was
just freaking out on air.
And he disappeared.
I see some of that. I mean, these guys and these ladies and gentlemen, they were literally working on this thing for like a decade, like 8 years, 9 years.
Understood.
So I mean, I kind of get it, but yeah.
My favorite line from his was, "This shouldn't be long now. This should happen very quickly. Everything should go very quickly from here." And I'm like,
yeah. And I looked down, and that was literally like 15 minutes to go still.
Yeah. And then he said it like 12 times. I was like, okay, this man obviously he's impassioned with what he wants with the NASA Perseverance lander. He really wants this to happen. And by all means, you're right, 100%. These people worked a lifetime on this, and for them. It's important, and I imagine that excitement. And it was kind of interesting, although I think they should go the SpaceX route, because when SpaceX does one of their live streams, they often have the live room audio where people are cheering in the background kind of piped in with the talking. And I really think that makes a big difference, because it gives you a little bit more of that ambiance of how excited people really are, because their audio cheers just kind of cut out in the middle.
Yeah, it was... Actually, I think there was another feed I was watching. There was the main feed, the main show on NASA TV, but there was a second feed which was just the control room, like clean feed, and that had a little bit more of just them, behind the scenes, obviously celebrating.
Right.
But I mean, there's no information there. It was just it was cool. It was super cool. It was
very cool.
It was very cool. Yeah, I watched it as I would say live, but I mean, the rover landed on Mars yesterday at 3:55 p.m. Eastern time.
Right.
And any signals to and from the rover take about 11 minutes and change to get one way. To go one way.
Yeah.
So it was one of those where I'm like. So it landed on Mars at 3:55. Is that like 11 minutes past? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
when we
right.
get the images, it's like landed now. We just landed. We're good. It just landed. I'm like, that was like 11 minutes ago, right?
Kind of technically, like, well, I guess to them it was all because I'm bringing up the article right now, the one from
Yeah.
space.com. I'm running that in the
Yeah.
background as we're talking about this.
Okay, cool. All right,
And for
perfect.
me, the biggest thing there is that as the mission progressed, and I had the same questions in my mind as they were really getting through those points of where they were deploying the parachute. Everyone was cheering. They went into the very next stage where it went into entry. Everyone was cheering, and I was like, wait, if disaster already happened, aren't you going to be the last one to the party? Because from my understanding is these heartbeats that the Perseverance had to actually give off are
Yes,
are
yes.
are part of this telemetry system that can't be activated because as it enters the Martian atmosphere, there's all the interference, there's the burn interference. So they basically send out a
Yes.
pulse, and
Yep. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. As the vid
it has a
comes through the
pulse.
atmosphere on Mars, it has plasma and all that, and it's actually kind of like when things would come into Earth atmosphere.
Hmm.
There's that plasma ball that interrupts everything,
And
but
and
yeah, that was kind of cool.
and tack on 11 minutes of delay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But hey, okay, I
Exactly.
gave it a 50-50, and I have to correct myself because the other day I was like, okay, who came up with the idea of parachute, rocket system, crane, lowering? And then I was like, wait, they did this before with the last one. So I was like,
Yeah,
idiot.
yeah,
I had to go
yeah.
back and check my resources on that.
Just slipped out, but that's okay. It's cool.
So how
They made it
about
work.
yeah,
They
they
made it work.
did. They did. Did you have anything else to add to the space.com article? Because there was so much more in there. If you want to continue on it, because I still have it
Yeah,
up for it.
exactly. I mean, just some of the key points to pick out that if you guys did, some of the things is that I thought was interesting from just watching it and seeing what NASA and the people behind the scenes were talking about. There's different crews. There's the EDL or the entry, descent, and landing crew, and then there's
Hmm.
obviously the launch crew and all that. It's interesting to talk to the people that are part of the Rover crew,
Right.
the like daily ops now,
Right.
because they talk about, what they're going to do. They obviously bring up the sensor arm with all the cameras on and all that. But then you get to talking about other things like, well, one of the things we got to get used to is every day we have to, we're 40 minutes, our days are extended by 40 minutes because Mars is, one day on Mars is 24 hours, 40 minutes
Right.
Earth time.
Hmm. Earth.
So when they go to work, or when their days at work are essentially 40 minutes offset every day. So, you know, literally
Try living to a
literally every
Martian
2 days
schedule.
they're an hour and a half off, and then it just keeps getting worse, and it's just this progressive thing for the next 2 years that you're just going to be. I don't even know. You have no clue what time of day it is, I mean, it's all, literally the time of day is Mars. What is it on Mars? Because that's all that matters to
Right.
them, and it's. I
Right.
think that's. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, for realizing that would be a bit difficult to get used to, because of course it would be. It literally always changes, respective to Earth. But the fact that their lives literally change because they're involved in a project that is, millions of miles away. That's
That's
cool.
pretty
I
cool.
think I think that's cool. So
I when I was now I have to admit that I was listening more than I was watching because obviously there wasn't a lot of video to that, right? And so for that
yeah.
for that particular part of it, I was just kind of vegetating as I was driving and listening in the background, and I was
Mhm.
still paying attention because I had stuff to do. But and I immediately had then turned around after it landed. Corey, I called him and I was like, "Hey, look, did they send back an image? Because I know they were going to send back an image like immediately
Yep.
because they wanted something there." And I have it on screen because Corey does a lot of digging on this stuff, and to
Mhm.
his credit, we have a link below in the description to the raw pictures coming in. And if you want to describe that one, because I have up on screen right now the first
Certainly.
raw picture that was delivered from the Martian surface from
Certain.
Perseverance.
Certainly, yeah. So just as Mike said, the link down below, I've found the web page that will be updated as this mission continues for you guys to keep track of all the raw images that they download that are available for public use when they get them uploaded or onto this website. It's down the link below. It's the one that's got raw images at the end of the link. There's 3 images in there now. They're all of cameras that are near the legs or the wheels of the
Hmm.
rover, and they basically show the landscape. It's not a little bit hard to tell, but watching the webcast this morning from JPL as well, they said that it's near a tabletop level surface there. It's really one of the best places they could have landed. But I mean, one of the things that also was interesting that you may or may not know is while the rover came through the atmosphere and then it was hanging off of the parachute, there was a sensor system and some cameras on board that quickly scanned the terrain
I heard that.
because
Yeah.
now, yeah,
Yeah.
because now the obviously the camera pictures that the rover's getting are closer than anything else we've ever taken, and that's the best data for them to decide where to land. But that's got to be all automated. There's zero chance anyone at home could make that decision because it's impossible with the time sink and it's on a parachute millions of miles away. You got to do it now.
So
So
that one to me is impressive because it's a different region. However, DJI drones do have adaptive technology to avoid obstacles,
mhm,
but they do not have like a sensor depth technology to the sense of
yeah,
where it understands the relief of the surface that this thing's about to approach. And if you look from our experience in aviation, and especially when you're trying to land something that's a kind of like got a balance issue. It doesn't might not
yeah,
have the dynamic stability that one would think. If that terrain was sloped in any way direction that was more than what they thought, the first thing that would have happened was this lander would have gone landed and
yep,
upended itself.
yep,
So I thought that was fascinating because I heard them talking about it, and it was
hmm
good that you went into that detail because to me it's just amazing, just
it's pretty
amazing that they
cool.
put that on there. And
It's
now
pretty
I
cool.
wonder, would it have had the technological advancement though to sidestep? Was that what they were talking
It
about?
did. It
Okay, it
did,
did. It
yes.
did. Okay,
So it did have the ability. So when so basically it was on the chute, and when it was hanging from the parachute, after it had ejected the bottom protective covering, and it's literally hanging there off the chute before it drops the rover in the crane.
right.
It's the rover itself is using onboard radar and cameras to determine where it should land,
Hmm.
where it's literally deciding where it should land. And then,
That's
if I'm
pretty
not
cool.
mistaken, when they actually had this question yesterday,
Right.
how far can this thing actually fly? And it a bit depends on when it's dropped, of
Hmm.
course, right? Because the lower it's dropped, the less distance it could actually go. But I think the person on the webcast from JPL 2 days ago said that the rover could travel. I might mess this up, but I think he said like 700 football fields or something like that. He was
Yeah,
trying to put in
because
perspective,
I think
depending
when
how high it dropped and all that. So
right, because I think at one point they declared that when the shield was on, once the shield was jettisoned, so it could get a better look, the camera system was going to get a better look. They said
mhm,
that it would also start at that point no longer laterally trajectorying through the sky. If I heard correctly, what they were talking about was that now it was going to go and seek more on just kind of dangling from where the actual rockets were going to fire to push to that last zone is what it
exactly.
was what I understood.
Exactly.
Um,
I think it was called the straighten up and something maneuver,
was
if
it
I
straighten
recall
up and
correctly.
fly right?
I no, I think it's straighten up and fly straight or something like that maneuver.
Straight up and fly straight.
And actually, another link, I believe I put that link down below for you guys to watch as well. Down below, let me double check.
You did?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the links down below, just as we're talking about this, one of the links down below is called NASA or eyes.nasa.gov apps Mars 2021. That is a
It's up.
yesterday. It was a near real time data stream animation that played and showed you guys exactly the whole landing from entry in the atmosphere, before entry in the atmosphere, all the steps, and on the side of the screen on the left, it would walk you through all the steps, and it would show you exactly all the pieces to it with near real time data integration. And that app was pretty cool. But in that thing, it talked about all those different maneuvers, and you can see really actually see as an animation what it did.
Wow, this thing just it
Um,
has one
and it all
glitch.
went off without a hitch.
There you go.
And it was pretty cool. I think from the data I was seeing as it was landing, it impacted the ground at 1.7 miles per hour
There you go.
when it was literally hitting the atmosphere before from interstellar or not interstellar space, but our inner space between the planet outer spaces would be hit the atmosphere. I think 12,000 and change miles per hour. And then actually, as it began to come to the atmosphere, it began to slow down because obviously, as it was coming in towards Mars, it actually was falling into Mars's gravity and speeding up, right from its journey, actually speeding up as it got closer to Mars, and then slowed down as it began to hit the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fascinating because I got it playing in real time right now, and I'm the MacBook Pro is spinning up here a little bit because it's the
mhm,
D-spin maneuver, which it was spinning at,
exactly.
at 2 revolutions per minute in order to keep its stability in space, and then as it came into the
Yes.
Martian atmosphere, they slowed that spin to less than that, just to make sure that it was going to
Yep.
maintain the balanced atmosphere, so the shield could be pointed in the right direction, and
Really
then
was pretty cool how
yeah,
they did that. They have two large metal weights, counterbalance weights
hmm
on the vehicle,
right,
And so in interstellar space, they help keep the vehicle in that stable spin. But then as they wanted to jettison those in your animation, you'll see it just literally jettisons them, and then the vehicle slows down quite significantly, almost stopping its spin. And it's one of those where, if you guys have ever been in a chair, like a bar stool that turns all the way around, and we went and
it kind of
pilots
does
obviously learn about conservation of angular momentum.
Yes.
If you guys are up to speed on that, if you're
Let's
it's
get
like
all
the figure
nerdy.
skater thing, right?
Right.
You're on your bar stool and you're spinning around, and your arms are out, and then you bring your arms in, you speed up. It's a conservation. It's one of the laws of motion, conservation of angular momentum. And so it was pretty cool when it jettisoned literally the weights as it was spinning, because the weights obviously have mass, and that put a force opposite the rotation of the craft and slowed it down.
And then they talked a lot about this entry interface point, which I just clicked past, and that was before it started guidance. So it just basically, at that point, they were just trying to get it angled in the right direction, and then it started guiding itself towards where it was going to land. And I forget the name of what was it was the what was it, a crater, or what was the name of
the Jesuit crater?
Jesuit crater. I couldn't remember the name of it. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Jesuit crater. Yeah. I was listening to it. It hit Mars atmosphere about 15 degrees.
Right.
Of angle of incidence, and it was pointing itself towards Jesuit crater. And then after it came through most of the, actually, you're coming up into it, I think, in the animation here in a minute, where it's going to start actually. What it doesn't show is there's some thrusters on the vehicle itself that are orientating itself trajectory, towards, to keep it on track towards Jesuit crater.
Right.
And I think I'm saying that wrong, as I keep saying Jezero. Jezero. Yeah. I'm like, Chad, I'm saying that wrong. There you go. Anyway, Jezero crater. And what is the significance of this crater? We talked a little bit about it the other day. It's one of the best places on Mars that they can isolate that it's a place that they really think had water in the past. It's got a defined water inlet and a defined water outlet, and the inlet has what looks like a really well-defined delta. If you know about where water flows into an estuary, there's a delta. It brings deposits in,
like Louisiana and New Orleans.
Exactly. If you guys are familiar with that, it really looks like a really well-defined delta. It's a place they really think they're going to be able to find, solid evidence of not just flowing water, but hopefully any deposits of life that would be associated with that flowing water. So Impex is here, James. Nope, not just yet.
Did I miss? No, you did not miss the AMG talk yet. I know we're just recapping some of the Perseverance part here. And Corey found this fantastic website that does a total reenactment in 3D. It's actually phenomenal. We're looking at the graphic representation, and it basically walks you through each individual event that the actual Perseverance went through yesterday. It's a fantastic find, and the
link is down below.
Yeah. In the description below.
It's 3D, kind of like Google Earth, so you guys can, interact with it. It's not just a video. You can move around and change the camera and zoom in and out with your mouse. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Which I'm doing right now. I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
Yep.
I like
so
this.
Actually right now is where it was scanning the ground with the radar and the cameras, determining where it actually wanted to land the craft. And then you'll see in a minute, in a few seconds, it'll probably jettison the rover and its crane together. And the crane will light the rockets, and then it'll start navigating where it wants to go. And then
here it is, TNR valid solution.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So then it found it's about 2 miles from landing. And it was really interesting how the velocity in the Martian atmosphere slowed it down much more than I thought it would ever do. I was like, I thought Martian atmosphere was a little bit less dense than ours. It's
quite a bit less dense.
Yes,
it's quite a bit less dense.
But it slowed down more than I thought.
Later. Yeah, which comes into play later, the density air, with the fact that they're going to fly a little helicopter on Mars, which is pretty cool. And they had to engineer this helicopter to fly in a whole lot less dense air mass, but still obviously make it around. So yeah, you can see here it's navigating itself with the crane on board, or with the crane and the rockets to its the place it chose by itself to figure out where to land. The crane will lower the rover here in a minute.
I wish I could get it to straighten up, because it just doesn't have this. They don't have an angular rotational part here for me to just pull on and make this thing come back to normal. But oh, there it goes. It's going. And there's lander. That's pretty cool, the way that they use those jet systems in order to just hold that thing, just to give it a dainty landing. But fantastic in any way.
Pretty cool.
Possible. I
Pretty
mean,
cool.
bad news for the crane because it just goes into flyaway mode and goes, whoop, well, my job's over.
I like how they always every time somebody hinted at that,
Yeah.
like what happens or how does the crane work? It's always like exactly like you described there a second ago. It comes down, the crane lowers the vehicle, drops it at really slow speed. They go into specifics, and then the guy's like, and then it flies away.
Yeah, and it flies
10
away, and
seconds.
it's over for the crane.
And we're like, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I mean, all they said is it flies away to whichever way is north. It pitches to north, whichever direction is closer to north, and then that's it. The sentence is over.
See
It
ya.
flies away to the north.
It's done.
I'm
It's
like,
over.
okay, so I guess it's gonna wreck somewhere.
It's just going to go get wrecked. Anyhow, you know what? It was a fantastic recap. If you guys didn't get a chance to listen to it yesterday, I know it's all over YouTube. You can go find it for yourself. They were all quite excited. And again, it's nice to know that we're making so many forefronts in space, especially in the department of actually getting ourselves, I guess, closer to going to Mars. I guess this is just another step to make Elon Musk a richer man at some point, because my money is on the fact that if we go to Mars, it's going to be on his rockets. I got money on it.
I know we're wrapping that up. Just two things about that.
Go ahead. No,
no. Obviously, the rover's looking for past signs of life through ancient past signs of life. But one thing also to know about is it also has a system on board to determine if it can manufacture oxygen from things that just find there. Right, which is pretty cool because obviously we're not talking like atmosphere or oxygen that can be breathable to humans, great, but also to oxidizer for fuels, rocket fuels, so you can make your own fuels there on Mars.
That would be
which
so
is
cool.
pretty important too. So just like you said, yeah, it's there's obviously a big life component there, but there's a lot of thinking ahead. Like,
all right, so let me ask you this: in your wildest dreams, right? So when I think of signs of life, right, I go two ways. I go fossil. Right, I think if they find a fossil, is something that would be amazing. What if they found a relic? What if they found something that was actually a component that had to have been developed by some other form of intelligent life? That would be fascinating.
I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there with my response. What my response would be was, life could be life that's alive, amazing. Even microbial, amazing.
Yeah.
As long as we're sure we didn't bring it there somehow with us.
That's the secondary.
Yep. And then ancient life, of course, you can sure we didn't bring that with us. But still says there was life here, and that leads us to maybe think, okay, now we at least have a point in the trail of life. Did life go somewhere from here? Where can we find out where it started? That's all pretty interesting anyway, and it will really, definitively, okay, yeah, there was life somewhere else. But then, like you said, something that's obviously been built or designed by something that had an idea before building it.
Yes.
That's intelligent life. Like you just slap the intelligent on there, and then
that's a whole different world.
Especially if they determine this relic is super old, then you're like, okay, well, somebody really long ago made this that was intelligent. Where are they? Because that's pretty crazy.
I had this thought, right? I had this thought that I was like, what if there's microbial life or some sort of other life form that we can't see on the Martian surface? And, they're just chilling out. They're having a picnic in the middle of this crater. And here comes this badoosh. And I'm like, what in the world is this thing? And it's like, surprise. That would have been pretty cool.
How crazy would it be if they go down there, they find signs of life, like you said, but they only find signs of life in the crater, and they only find it right where they landed, and they only find it because they charred it and it's dead. It's like, holy crap!
Look, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that say that there's an opportunity that because of our exploration of Mars, that we have introduced microbacteria to the planet's surface that is actually growing, and hence that they also think that if they do find some level of water, that this will aid in the growth of some sort of new bacteria that we've never even heard of or experienced before on the Martian surface. That's kind of cool. The fact that you say Martian surface and now we talk about it as within the context that we might actually see humans there in my lifetime, I think is phenomenal. Really cool.
I was just talking to my dad the other day, and I was like, how cool would it be? Obviously, if we could go, right, that'd be awesome. But if just somebody was to go and say, to the Mars surface and literally take pictures of these rovers.
Oh, that would be cool.
50 years from now, and be like,
wow, we made it.
I was alive. I watched that thing land, and now we got somebody on the surface, doing whatever they're doing. But
that would be great.
Space tourists.
Go back, and they build like a historic monument around, the Mars landers, and they kind of put them in a museum exactly at the spaces that they were, so you could go see them where they stopped working. Just unearth them a
Then
little.
we know where the crane went.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the crane. Here lives the crane. Anyhow.
But yeah, so
Hey.
So check out the raw images down below, guys.
Yeah.
We got links to the raw images. That page will be updated by NASA with all the images they download. Lastly, I'll shut up about this, but
no, go ahead.
lastly,
I don't care.
I did
It's
also
Friday.
see the webcast this morning, the update from NASA as well this morning, and they were saying, they confirmed rather, that they do have actually a bunch more images. Like, she doesn't even know how many, a lot, but they're thumbnails, not the HD versions.
So when are they?
Just a bunch of thumbnails.
Yeah, but
from
I thought we were getting 4K images.
The crane dropping the rover off, the actual descent itself, a bunch of cool stuff.
Okay.
But nothing high res yet, and nothing on that they've uploaded here.
Gotcha. Yet. I'm waiting for that. That a couple of years ago there was the big reveal of the first, HD vision of Mars, and it was like, oh great. No, I'm waiting for the 4K stuff now. I want to see the 4K. So
they say they've got a bunch of high res cameras on there. We should actually later in the mission, whenever they find a place that they're going to do the helicopter, they'll have video of the helicopter spooling up. They'll have video of it flying.
Well, that's cool.
At least once.
At least once. Hey, everything flew once, right? And
exactly
for seconds until it crashed. So
until it didn't.
Until it didn't.
Anyway.
Hey, are you done? That's all. I'll continue to talk about anything.
Mars, this will be a thing we kind of touch in on whenever there's something really going on there, but
sure.
It's pretty cool.
I was more excited as I listened to it, and again, in my mind, I had that image of this thing streaking across the Martian sky and being like, man, if you could be an observer in the universe, I think that would be a fantastic thing to witness. Because now I guess I'm lucky because I've had the opportunity to see a space shuttle come in over Dallas, Texas, and see that burn through the atmosphere. I've seen plenty of them return here. I've seen different things of the space program from the observer perspective, and in my mind's eye, I build up this representation. And I don't know if that's what everybody else did, but that's what I do. So
yeah, it's really cool. Hopefully, you guys can see we're pretty excited about space, and it's cool. It is cool.
And the next thing is, hey, if you're gonna get a chance, like, subscribe, and follow. And also remember, we are also looking for the next opportunity to bring you a live and improved experience with a SpaceX launch, live from Titusville, Florida, right on the banks of the Indian River, overlooking NASA. So that's something else that's still on our list of to get better and do more of, because it was a fantastic experience. And our growth on the channel for being so small and so young was phenomenal, and it was worth every penny of it. So we enjoyed everything that we got from it, especially the new subs. So thanks, guys.
It was pretty cool.
Fantastic. All right. Ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So I've been jabbing about this car for a little while now. And before I even show you a picture of it, okay, this is for me, the passion of things that go fast and burn, fossilized fuels and continue to go faster. There's something out there that has sparked my imagination, because when I saw the first video of it, I was really in the realm of, I guess, awe. And that is the AMG ONE. So basically AMG, which is the performance arm of Mercedes-Benz, has been hard working at bringing another hypercar to the universe. And when I say hypercar, I do mean hypercar, because if we look at the performance, and this is just sheer performance of what this thing can do so far. Right now, they're saying top speed of 217 miles an hour. 0 to 124 miles an hour. Odd number to pick, but that's what they picked, in under 6 seconds. And this comes from a 1.6 liter V6 hybrid engine with direct injection and electrically assisted turbocharging. So it goes into an actual mode where it will pre-spool the turbochargers in anticipation of acceleration.
Super cool.
That is freaking insane, dude. 4 electric motors for a combined of 450 kilowatts of power, total output of over 1,000 horsepower, and an automated AMG speed shift 8-speed manual transmission. Manual. Okay? Manual. So they're going back to the actual, you have control of it. Also, 800 volt of power drive system, and then a whole different on-off sport handling system, which is basically taking this from their Formula One style technology of where they want this car to eventually land in the annals of performance and people who are in the industry for a hypercar. This also opens them to the door of actually racing this in what was going to be the hypercar league for what was coming up to be integrated into EMSA. Okay, so this was their entry. This is their platform. But here's the other part of it. This thing is just downright gorgeous. I mean, as far as
it's really nice looking.
it's right now. If you remember, Corey, what was it? I'm gonna say late '90s. Both Porsche and Mercedes both had entries into Le Mans. They both had 24-hour cars that were out there that had the overhead hood scoop, had a very similar body design. But the Mercedes was more flat and squarish, where the Porsche was actually more round. And this thing actually seems to fit the bill of somewhere in between. Okay, now, was it the? It was the Mercedes that went upside down, right, on the Moulin Straight. At over 200, was it the Mercedes or the Porsche?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember if it was a Mercedes or Porsche, and I have to go back and do my homework. But there was a car, two actually, that went upside down because of the actual speeds that they achieved at Le Mans. Okay, but this car is just something that is absolutely breathtaking, especially when you consider the specifications and the fact that this thing is pretty much patterned after what is, by all means, a Formula One designed inspiration. All right, and even when you look at the cockpit itself has a Formula One style wheel, basically capturing all the identity of a Formula One car. It's very barren, very stripped out. They say that it's got these all these cues that are basically coming from a Formula One car. And when you look at it, though, my first impression is not full on Formula One car. My first impression is old, basic Mercedes looking GT Le Mans car. That's my first impression. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same kind of thing. I mean, it's some of these other like hypercars have toyed with the idea of having a center seat, where even the actual driver, as even in streetcar, they would put the driver in the middle of the chassis, right? Not actually sit in the sides. And there's been different integrations of that. But this one still kind of falls in a little bit of like more traditional setup. They've kind of, from the image there, I think that's a picture, not a render of the cockpit itself, but
it is.
It's it obviously, one thing about that manual. Now we're talking about manual, just to mention again, you can see little hints of the paddles. So it's a paddle shift. Obviously, there's actual. So when we say manual now,
it's a manual
still
paddle,
not a stick. It's it's probably got I don't know, auto blip downshift. Obviously, you're probably, as it's sequential gearbox as far as let me check that. Speed shift. So it's still a manual, but everything's assisted, I'm sure.
Right.
So I can see somebody's iPhone in the
in the picture
in between the
seats.
It's like
there. What?
So there's that. So next time you're in your Formula One car, just bring your iPhone around.
Because why not?
Pop it in, charge.
Who wouldn't?
I wonder this thing. Does you find weight? How much does this thing weigh?
There was nothing that they said currently on weight, and that's one of the bigger issues there. And here's the other thing. Okay, it's basically at this point, it does exist. Okay, obviously the car does exist, and
there's videos.
Yeah, there's videos, and we're about to play one really quick.
Yep.
And but I didn't see anything so far on weight, and again, because there is nothing else out there in that particular arena. You have to remember that some of these are hypercar numbers. Again, we're not talking about, figures that are perfect yet. So,
yeah.
And this is one of the videos that's out there. Hold on one second. We're just gonna pause this.
And while you're bringing that up, one thing to note is, since this is a hybrid powertrain, I am just assuming that 1,000 horsepower figure is at the wheel, because it's because the wheels have electric motors, assisting the whole process of torque onto the wheels. So, but I'll shut up. Here's the video.
No, don't do that. Just letting this video roll.
Yeah, there's some crazy designs by that guy.
That's the other one. Now, of course, they can steal from their Formula One success. Mercedes can.
Yeah.
One day, we'll create technology years ahead of its time. One day has just begun. AMG, driving the future of performance.
Oh, look at that little Mercedes logo. That is just fantastic.
Pretty cool.
It gets you excited. Now there are videos of this thing. Obviously, it's at the point now where this thing is actually making the rounds from the unveiling into the world of actual drivable. So that's the one thing that they're expecting now, is that this thing is just weeks around the corner from actually fully being released into the public, which I don't know about you, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It'll be interesting. I did see another video. I hadn't seen actually that advertisement about it, but I'd seen another video of it on the track,
Mm-hmm.
and that looked quite cool as well. It just when I was looking at that this morning, it got me thinking about we talked a bit earlier about the Austin Martin.
Oh, here's right. Go ahead.
Valkyrie. It's another hypercar supposed to be out this year as well. So I mean, there's some cool stuff.
Here's the one.
Cool stuff out
here's
there.
The track one. I'm going to play the track one really quick as well, because you know what?
Cool. Very
because good. I want to.
Yep.
The active arrow is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
This was the other one I forgot to show. Almost.
This is the one I saw. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the one where it's actually on the track, ready to roll. And look, it's coming. In other words, it's about to be fully released to the public, which means other people will be getting behind the wheel of it. You'll be hearing actual precise numbers on it. And I'm sure it'll make its entry into the video game place, where suddenly it'll appear as the front runner and fastest car in every video game. So everyone will be excited about that. And look, and for me, I'm more excited about it actually making it into the world of simulation, because I recently I'm no longer driving in circles if you follow my Twitch stream, because that's garbage. And I'm going to be moving into the world of road course racing, and that means I got to pick something to drive. And that's going to be more exciting, as we are actually in the process of creating and integrating into a road course league. So that should be fun too. But I'm really excited to try something like that out, because I guess hypercar was going to go into this realm of IMSA. We know that VW obviously left all forms of racing, and that opened up the window for obviously Audi to make its return into 24-hour and to Premier Racing, as well as joining back into IMSA and racing back here in America. But then Mercedes obviously has a car keyed up and ready to go, and Porsche is obviously going to bring something new out following next year. That's their announcement. So you're going to have the three major German manufacturers back at it again in the not too distant future, and hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, because the rules have been restructured at Daytona, that they'll all be there next year. Please.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's obviously that's the cool part, is to see, I mean, obviously see all this things being developed,
right? But
then to be able to go somewhere and actually see them in person at the races we like to attend, that would be really cool.
So here's one thing I never understood though. How come Koenigsegg has never actually gone racing in where they probably belong, which is this hypercar category, or even brought something into, say, the GT Le Mans category? Because I honestly think that they're very capable. If Lamborghini's been in that space for a long time, I don't know why Koenigsegg really hasn't just gotten into that marketplace of driving those types of cars. But it's just an interesting question, and something that I am looking forward to them actually making the jump into it. So cool. Yeah, that's okay. So at one point we have to do so here's two things that are on the list that I keep forgetting. We still have to go into helicopter myths and movies. We still have to do a video on that one for sure. Yeah. Yep. That's okay, because that's been on my list, and I can't forget it. But the other thing is lottery winning cars. If you won the lottery, what car would you buy? What would be the first purchase? And that would be a topic where we could involve lots of people in that discussion. But
yeah, let's just bookmark that. Let me make a note, because that'll be something to
pre-talk about. All right, so hey,
I have
who? Well, I know you have. I know what I have.
Yeah,
I know what you have. I know what I want.
I'm sure there's some viewers out there that also would be like, yep,
that's the one I want. Okay.
I mean, just without going into that, like cars you drive every day, cars you wouldn't drive every day, cars you could only drive on the track.
I would See, okay,
bunch of categories.
Even if I didn't win the lottery, I'll tell you which car I would take to the track.
Don't say now.
No. Even if this is not a lottery winning car. Like if I won the lottery, my track car would be completely different than what I would still, if I had the opportunity, I would track a 2015 stripped out Volkswagen GTI with a 6-speed manual. That's what I would put a cage in it and just go to town. That's what I would really enjoy the most. But anyhow, hey, right. Like, subscribe, and follow, and we're about to go into another topic here that oh yeah, it's all you, man. I laughed my bananas off when I heard this one, because you know what, you just go with it. Just go. It's just hysterical.
It's so you guys know we obviously into technology. We do some gaming when we have the time to do so as well. And a lot of the big news in gaming this past fall was Nvidia's RTX cards, which were going to and did make a big ability jump for people's machines to run, obviously, ray tracing, but just run things better, and that was all great.
Yep.
Cryptocurrency miners also understood the ability of this new architecture to really grind out and do some serious crypto mining. And that's put a big problem, actually, in a lot of the, let's call them legit gaming and power station desktop PC people looking for cards that they cannot find for any price that is not ridiculous or just straight not available. So found this link that Mike's graciously brought up from The Verge.
Yes.
We found it, or I found it. And it says legit Nvidia is nerfing its new RTX 3060 Ethereum for Ethereum cryptocurrency miners. So literally they without getting, well, we'll get into here, of course, what they basically done is they know Ethereum is also on the upswing of being really heavily mined, and the 3060 is also the next thing that they're going to come out with, and it's supposed to be a more affordable RTX 3000 series card, but still better than the 20 series, 2000 series cards, right? And I think there was some talk that the 3060 was going to be like $350, $450, you know, a decent price for a lot of power this past year, as it would be.
Right.
Basically, what Nvidia has said is here. I'll just read the quote here. We designed the GeForce GPUs for gamers, and gamers are clamoring for more. Yet NVIDIA GPUs are programmable, and users are constantly discovering new applications for them, from weather stations and gene sequencing to deep learning and robotics.
Yeah.
And cryptocurrency mining.
And cryptocurrency money.
So basically what they've said is the new drivers for the 3060s will accompany the release of the GPUs later this month. The software on the card will identify it's being used for Ethereum mining and cut the efficiency by half.
That is, you know, here's the funny part, okay? Look, I just brought up a screen that I'm sharing right now. An RTX, okay, 3080, right now, the Founders Edition, 10 gigabyte, is going for $1,500. Okay? Which,
I'm saying, it's just,
it defeats the purpose of the card. I mean, you can't, it's like, it's unobtainium at this point, which is silly to me. I get it. You guys really want to go out there and mine, and obviously Bitcoin is going to the roof, and not a lot of people mine for Bitcoin anymore, but it's Ethereum. You know, these Ethereum miners. But hey, you know what? What do you? I think it's getting asinine at this point. I really do.
A lot of these blockchains out there that people are mining, and it's all, since it's currency, it's kind of, I'm not going to say it's like a stock, but it has value the more people that use it, and then because it's blockchain, there's only so much of it to go around.
Right.
And
maybe we should design a cryptocurrency CPU. That's what we need to do.
Oh, you mean a mining CPU?
Yes, just a mining CPU. So you don't have to keep eating I know the graphics processors, look, because when graphics processors came out, right, their floating point math and the way that they went through DSP, their digital signal processing and whatnot, dropping zeros here and adding them to the other place, became great at fractional math, great at sorting polygons, great at throwing, you know, graphics out there. But there's got to be something that's better in the technology realm of just moving this decimal to that decimal that's even better than I would think than graphics processors. I would think, you know, in my mind.
It kind of comes back to dollars and cents. I mean, you know that too.
Sure.
I mean, we've actually talked about this on a previous show, cryptocurrency, and obviously this whole using RTX cards as not render farms, but effectively a bunch of daisy chain computers together that legit don't do anything for graphic, for video, anything. It's legit just to mine out. Well, the one we did the story on, remember there's that guy, and you worked out the numbers. You said he literally like has this thing running for 3 months,
For 3
and then
months,
he's making 20,000 after
He was,
that to
yeah.
make his
So
money back.
basically, I think he bought 72 RTX 3080s. He put them together. He wired them all up. Set up the rig. I think he spent 27,000, or no, was it 20? Yeah, I think it was 27.
It was a lot.
It was a lot of money. He spent a lot of money on it.
Mhm.
Okay, and basically it paid for itself in the first 3 months, and then everything else there was pure profit. Now I know a couple of people that got into the cryptocurrency game, or mining industry in Sweden, and they're actually common friends of ours, but I won't actually mention their names. However,
Yeah, of course.
they did racks and racks and racks, and they went in at a greater number, and I think it paid for itself within the first year. And I think they were mining Ethereum as well. So, hey, look, I'm not knocking entrepreneurship and people getting into that type of industry at all. I'm just saying, look, if you're going to sabotage a completely different industry to get to that industry and make yours work, well, you got to remember that you're actually doing harm to the people that are actually developing video cards, because you're killing their profits because they can't keep them on the shelves. Sure, you're buying them, right? And you're driving up premiums, but you're also making a certain percentage of them unattainable to the people that they were actually supposed to market for. So,
Yep. And actually, just going along with that same thing you said, demand, supply and demand. The second part of this article also mentions that Nvidia is coming out with, let me say it correctly, the CMP versions of their cards, and it's the cryptocurrency mining processors.
Yeah, the CMPs.
So basically, they're going to come out with CMP, or crypto mining purpose-built cards of the 3060s, at least I've seen. And the big thing with those is they're literally building those cards with no video output on the card. It's literally purpose-built for miners. So that was my thing was like, okay, of course Nvidia could look or seek to satisfy their gamer market, because that's their market. But then you could say, oh, there's a new market being made, crypto. People are using the cards for crypto. So they effectively just branched themselves off to another market, which is fine. Now they're trying to satisfy both. And it's like I told you before the stream, I said, okay, on the face of it, nerfing the cards so they don't for mining, great, awesome. Maybe the people that look for mining or rendering, or the people looking for rendering or gaming, can find one now. Except that
you're still
the same basic card,
and it's
right.
Supply chain issue.
Wherever they're making these cards, wherever they're making the guts of the card,
right?
The dies, the actual processors. Now they just got to go two places instead of one.
Of course,
and now they got one product line. Now they got two product lines. So
I guess that would mean that the market is, because look, just because they make a CMP card, right, just for mining, doesn't mean that if they still can't get the CMP version, do you think they're not going to buy the 3080 unless there's a substantial price difference? And look, you're only talking about soldered on connections between HDMI points, right, or DisplayPort adapters. And that's it. You're talking about maybe putting 3 of those on a card where it would or would not exist. And that material, they probably buy those for nickels. Okay, it'd probably cost them 15 cents to put the back plate on the back of this card. No joke. Okay, so really, if you're a cryptocurrency miner, is that gonna stop you just because it's not that type of card? I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna fix the problem.
As long as they can, if they can't find these CMP cards, they'll buy 3060s or whichever one they can find, as long as it integrates into their node, right?
Right.
So the only thing they have mentioned is that Nvidia is also ensuring that CMP cards have lower peak voltages, so miners could technically have a better profit input, quicker output, because it's going to cost them less electricity to run them.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
But it's the same thing, like you said. It costs me less electricity to run it, or if I can't find it, I can buy this one and just still have one to use.
So from my understanding on cryptocurrency mining, the electricity is one cost, but the other cost is cooling. Because when you're running
Oh
these
yeah.
things, okay, now I wonder if it has lower voltage going through the cores, if it's going to still produce the same amount of actual mathematical computations, but if it's also going to lower the heat component that comes off the chipset. Because if it does, that's a double savings for a miner, and the fact that he knows he's going to pay less in cooling solution and less in electricity, which, you know, if you're cryptocurrency mining at a very small level, maybe 6 or 7 of those CMP cards might make a huge difference.
Yeah, but if you're lowering the frequency and the core voltage
Well,
of a card, and you're a miner, does that mean it's literally outputting less?
I don't know.
Let's say, you know, it's less effective at mining. Sure, it costs you less electricity, costs you less in heating, or rather cooling. But if they've literally, you know where I'm going with that.
I know where
is
you're going
if
with that.
they, yeah.
So look, if
I don't
you
know.
lower the bench, look, if you were to benchmark what one of these cards does in a mining condition versus what it does in physical output condition, I would imagine that when it actually physically has to output the visual graphics, that the heat would increase. But I would also imagine that that overhead, that you wouldn't have to worry about a throttling situation where the card could stay cooler because it's not actually producing the polygons on screen, that it might be able to do more cryptocurrency crunching. I don't know. My mind goes into those whole, well, I kind of see the efficiency part of it, and then I go, I don't think it's going to stop them from buying 3080s or 3060s.
I think it goes back to the same, you know, basic thing we said before. If they can't find CMPs, they're going to buy what they can find.
Now, in another year, no one's going to care. And that's the funny part, you know. In another year, but when you're looking at year 2 of a generational gap in these processors, right? So come September, it'll be 1 year that 3080s have been out on the market. Okay, you can't get them. If I would have a 3080 right now, I have a 2080 Super right in my machine. How long have I been telling you I want a 3080?
Well, we were talking about it last summer.
Yeah,
when we started to hear about the performance increase, but likewise the price that wasn't as high as actually I thought it would be. When we first heard the performance increase of the RTX cards, I was thinking, dang man, they're going to be over 1,000 like all of them.
sure.
And their MSRP, not what they're going for, but MSRP is not that high.
No, it's not even that high. And here's the thing for me, for where right now I'm producing at, I'm running triple 31s, okay, monitors, curved AOCs, and my standard graphical output right now is 7,680 pixels by 1440 at a 2K resolution. And I imagine at a 3080, I'd probably pick up almost 18 to 20 frames per second on some games, except for Microsoft Flight Simulator, which to me would be worth it, because pushing those at right now in some games at 77 to 80 hertz, hey man, a couple more frames, that would just be a little bit smoother, and I'd enjoy that. So yeah. I'm one of those guys that's getting hurt by this marketplace. Let's put it that way.
I'm the same. Not to get into too much, but I'm on a 1080. And it does mostly what I need, but I can see where I'm running out of headroom with it. And I mean, I'm one of the guys that wants to upgrade to 30 series cards, but I really invest in that. I'm looking to just do a new build effectively, you know, because I have an old Intel chip and it's ran great. It's one of the best chips when I bought it. It's been really good, but I'm now seeing when I do some streaming and do some gaming, I'm maxing out the CPU, so not even the RAM, which is what I kind of thought I'd be running into. And
yeah, well, I mean, that's why I built the i9 over the summer. I mean, that was basically, and look, I'm almost ready to move on from the i9, sell it, you know, for $100 discount, and maybe move into a new i9. And only because the only problem that I have is I have a fourth screen that I need the onboard video from Intel to push the fourth screen. Because I don't want that running off the graphics adapter. I want that running off of the motherboard. And for me, that would be the only thing. But I would be willing. Maybe we're gonna have to talk, Corey. Maybe we'll have to talk. We still.
Yeah, no worries.
Because we got to build you a system.
We can get back to the chat and everything.
There we go.
But yeah.
So hey, folks, remember, like, subscribe, follow, and all that good stuff. And then one last comment in there, James, GTI, why not an R? I'm gonna tell you why not an R very easily. Because I don't want an R. That's it. The R is a great card.
Okay.
I bet one of my friends, Anthony, has an R that, my God, it's got a stage 3 APR kit on it. It launches so hard, my retina is nearly shot out of my eyeballs. But I don't know. And two things. You can't get an R with a sunroof. But that wouldn't matter on a track day anyhow. You can't. Yeah. You can't get an R with a sunroof.
No, yeah.
You just can't do it. Besides, I think I know what your car would be anyhow. It would be definitely
Who,
you. No,
James?
you. I know what James would be. James would be a Subaru. It would be a Subaru WRX STI. That's what he would like.
Is that true, James?
I know for a fact it's. I know he has.
Yeah.
I know he has a WRX, but it's an STI or not. So I'm pretty sure that would be his car. I know what your car would be too. I know exactly what your car would be. It'd be a Tesla, Model 3 Plaid, right? Or no, the performance. No, the what is it? The racer, or is it the race version? He loves his all-wheel drive. I knew it. So, anyhow, I think we lost Corey. I think everything just crashed. Did I just lose internet? I might have lost internet because Corey has frozen. The whole world has gone blank. And that might be the end of that. You there, Corey? Let's see if we can get Corey back on the line. He's gone, but not forgotten. Let's take a look. Oh, there's Corey. Hey, Corey, wave. No, Corey. Let's see if I can get him back. Everything just froze up. That was real interesting. That doesn't generally happen here. But yeah, that's weird. I'm not seeing any changes there. Always something, especially on a Friday. Let's see if he's coming back. Nope. No, goodbye. We've lost. Hey, it's Friday. So we had thunderstorms here. So I think what might have just happened is I lost internet completely. So, hey, I guess now is a good time to say,
Hello?
Yeah, you there? Everything froze. You there? There, you're back. You're back.
Yeah.
Let's just see if this is working.
Yes. Hey.
Hey, I think the thunderstorms in the local area.
I think Skype crashed.
No, internet just went absolutely crazy here on this side, and I'm actually getting all sorts of red flashing bells and whistles from OBS telling me that my internet dropped fairly significantly in the middle of that conversation. So yeah, and
Perfect.
I don't know if the stream even ended on the tubes because it got really bad. Let's see what we have left.
No, mine says it's still running.
Does it? Mine's saying I got an error. But, it's Friday. What else could happen?
James says he loves double drive, just regular
WRX. All right, there as well. For whatever reason, I'm dropping frames like a hammer. Like it suddenly, but the kilobytes is waffling high and low on OBS. So I guess it's a good time to probably just call it a day. That's the way it would be.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me, but
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear.
It's oh, you got me.
I can hear you loud and clear. Just weird stuff's going on with the internet.
Okay.
It never fails. Never fails. Like this is the life of streaming some days, right? Until we become, massively huge where we don't have these issues anymore. All right, anyhow, I'm done. You done? Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah. I mean, we'll keep track of any updates on Mars.
Yes.
And there's a few other cars we'll talk about as we go through. There's the Aston Martin hypercars coming, the Valkyrie and the Valhalla. Yep. We'll talk about that later. And yeah.
Oh, and what is it about?
What? And something else, right?
Yeah. What?
Something you were rendering something.
Oh, geez. Oh, well, I don't want to introduce it now with the internet being such crap because I almost forgot. The next installment of the Rolex 24 video is just about complete. It's probably got about another minute and a half to wrap up on editing. It looks fantastic. It's actually, I think, better. Do you think it's better or worse than the first one?
I think it's fun, right? It's the first one really kind of gave like what's it like to be at the Rolex,
right?
And then the second one is more like a cohesive video on the
experience.
The excitement,
yes.
The excitement of the car, some of the things you'll see, during while you're walking around, the fact that it's 24 hours. It's fun.
It's coming. Okay. So it's basically there in its 1080p format. It's not 100% yet. There's still a couple of credits that need to be added, and that'll be out probably over the weekend, if not just before.
Yeah, we'll get that 4K up. I can maybe grab it for you tomorrow or something. It takes a while for YouTube to crunch it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it takes quite a bit. And the other thing is, what I just realized? We can't get through a Friday without losing you. At some point on a Friday, always, your stream locks up or something happens where I'm like,
Well, I think I've sorted out the camera because the camera has full power still. I changed that.
oh,
up,
okay.
so,
What'd you
but
do to the camera?
I looked at the back of the ports and found a different USB slot.
Ah, very nice, very nice. So that's a powered USB.
I don't have a powered hub that that has data that would link to the computer, but I mean, I think it's fine.
Guess what I have here? It's a powered hub.
Christmas.
I was gonna get you another one of these because this is gonna be the travel one. So when we do the remote shoots, that you can.
Cool.
Hey, and we by the way, we also have a bunch of other product reviews that are gonna have to be coming up because as a result of doing the live stream in a remote location, it's opened up Pandora's box about all these different things now that I want to be able to do this more regularly, but with a lot less equipment and a lot less bulk because it literally took up 2 freaking trunk loads of stuff to get that live stream going. So that's something else that we got to look to in the not too distant future. And there will be reviews of other technologies that we are implementing for such purposes. So anyhow,
cool.
It's Friday. It's late. I'm done. You done?
I'm done. Yeah, it was good fun. Let's call it.
Let's call it. Okay. And remember, folks, we will be back Monday sometime around 2 because I'm not going to be specific anymore because, just why not? And if there's any updates in the launch that we find out for next week, we'll see if we can bring one more night launch to you in the not too distant future. So thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you guys all on Monday.
Take it easy. Stay safe.
Peace.
Catch you on Twitch or somewhere
At least you made it to the end of the show. Yay. You made it to the end of the show. Kind of. Well, yeah, good.
I'm not a picture.
You were a picture for a minute there. I did zoom in on you. It was kind of funny.
Oh, really?